Move on to Zimbabwe, folks, where Robert Mugabe is vowing to stay on. He addressed the nation and he refused to resign, even though it was reported that he did quit.
Today's meeting with the command element has underscored the need for us to collectively start processes that return our nation to normalcy, so all our people can go about their business unhindered in an environment of perfect peace and security, assured that law and order obtain and prevail as before, and endure well into the future.
He's 93 years old. He's a dictator, but he vowed to preside over the ruling party's Congress in December. Now, earlier Sunday, the ruling party fired Mugabe as party leader, saying if he doesn't resign as the country's president by noon local time today, they will begin impeachment proceedings. This weekend, thousands of people took to the streets of Zimbabwe's capital city, Harare, to celebrate the expected end of Mugabe's 37-year vicious rule. He's been under house arrest since last week. Joining us right now is retired General, actually in a moment we'll actually have General Kip Ward right on the set. But let me go ahead and tell you about Mugabe. Let me tell you about Mugabe. This is the one who was the leader. Of Zimbabwe coming out of apartheid. And his reign, now, when he was elected leader, everyone thought Zimbabwe was going to be the crown jewel of Africa. But what he did was the exact same thing that white leaders did, rule with an iron fist. So many people in the world criticize his rule in Zimbabwe. 37 years he has been leading. Also, what has happened, this is critically important, folks, he wanted to put his wife in charge of the country. That's when the military leaders said enough is enough. So right now I want to talk to the man who President Bush named as the first leader of the Africa Command. He is retired General William Kip Ward. General Ward, glad to have you on the show. You know this region very well. You know Zimbabwe very well, the continent of Africa very well, as a leader of the Africa Command. For folks who don't know about Mugabe, how critical is it to see the military saying enough is enough, it's time for you to go?
Well, good morning, Roland. And the fact that the military is behind this latest potential change in an era in Zimbabwe is extremely important, because the military is seen as the institution in Zimbabwe that has the ability to influence the population, to cause the population to mobilize. Unfortunately, it has been an institution that has been feared by the population because of some of the things that have been done, but at the same time, because of its standing and its status in the community, in the country, the fact that the military has been such a force given the liberation and since, their current stance is very significant.
If he decides to fight, this has an impact for neighboring countries. We've already seen where people were fleeing across the borders in the last 5 or 10 years going to South Africa.
Correct. The fact that the neighbors all look at Robert Mugabe as one of the iconic liberation heroes, there's a reluctance for them to, one, criticize him, but at the same time, there's also an acceptance of the fact that over the last, well, certainly 10 years, the civil space and other things that have led to a more democratic society have not been in place.
and again, for folks who, let me just put this in perspective, for folks to understand, Robert Mugabe is the George Washington of Zimbabwe. I mean, he was the one who led that effort to gain independence. And so you have this different connection with Mugabe and the people there, and one of the reasons why he's led that country, but he's ticked off so many world leaders, including people of color who've tried to help the nation as well because of his iron grip.
These monarchs who never leave power, in today's environment, as the youth population continues to grow and their ties to that population have increasingly disenfranchised themselves when it comes to their ability to relate to that group. And so therefore, as this change has occurred in other parts of the continent, has not changed in Zimbabwe. He has been increasingly out of favor with his peers, but at the same time, they're reluctant to publicly criticize him, but clearly the reforms that they would have liked to see going on in Zimbabwe have not occurred, and therefore it does create problems in their countries as well.
Last question, if you're over the Africa Command right now, what is that command doing? What is the White House doing as we watch what takes place in Zimbabwe?
Well, basically, again, support for a new era in Zimbabwe would be the policy that would be in place. The relationships that the command itself specifically has with Zimbabwe, given the political environment, those aren't very strong ties. We have a diplomatic presence there. We have a military attaché presence there, but there's no mill-to-mill activities going on because of the political environment. Certainly, should that change, that would be an attempt to increase our relationship with the military, to be more of a partner, to be of assistance to the Zimbabwe military, but only if this political change and this new era does in fact continue to move forward.
All right, retired General Kip Ward, we surely appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Donna Brazil, thanks a lot as well.
Weekdays on TV One.
I will never lie to you.
Oh my God.
Roland Martin.
He doesn't want to talk to us. He wants to ignore us.
Uncensored.
Hell no. That ain't gonna cut it, boo.
Unapologetic.
No, that is fundamentally false. You are wrong.
Unfiltered.
He wants an America where we all look alike. He ain't talking about black people.
Unrelenting.
You better go work out, because you got a fight on your hands.
NewsOne Now with Roland Martin. Weekdays at 7 a.m. on TV One.